Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Hey there.
Hi.
Coming on
Welcome
in.
to the party. We're super excited to have everyone with us today. We're going to be talking about AI learning, training. How do we get ourselves ready for the future?
And I love that we're having this episode because these are two people that we're familiar with in our space, and the things that each of them has created individually is wonderful for us to be able to learn and grow. Because I keep hearing people say to me, Liz, how do I get up with the AI? How do I feel left behind? And it's like, you're not,
You're
because
not.
it's really still very new. We're still just learning. And so this is a great webinar and a chance to be able to learn.
No, it really is. And I mean, there's lots of webinars. It feels like every day when I open my email, there's another webinar about AI, but they're all disjointed. And it's like, which one should you watch? Which one is the most relevant to you? And we're all busy and we all have stuff going on. So I love that we're going to be talking about actual training programs that start from, ground zero all the way to how do you strategically roll it out in your firm. So yay, 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 yay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can look at the slides. Oops, and I'm on the wrong slide. So hold on. Uh, Let me go backwards. I was getting click happy there. All right, there we go.
World rehearse.
I'm a little click happy. So yes, so we're excited. Today is leveling up your AI learning for accountants, and we're super thrilled to be joined by Byron Patrick and Jan Haugo. I always mispronounce your name, Jan. We have been friends for like over 10 years, and I can never pronounce your name. Would you please pronounce it for me and then forgive me?
Yeah, it's all good. Everybody trips up. It's how go, like how go.
Haugo. Okay, I will never forget again.
Okay, no worries. And if
Okay.
you do, it's okay.
Right. All right. So we're excited, and Jan and Byron have created AI training platforms for specifically for accounting professionals. Jan has smartaccountant.ai, and Byron, you have TB Academy for accountants by accountants, and that is an initiative that you built with Twyla Belhurst. Did
That's
I say
right.
that right? Is it
Verhelst.
Verhelst? See, I'm like not doing very well with the
Just
name
said,
pronunciation.
yeah, just the a couple letters intermingled.
It's
The
after three
vowels.
o'clock. It's after three. I always say after 3 o'clock, I start pronouncing everything wrong. So that's on par. So, and then Liz, would you like to introduce yourself, madam?
Thanks. So Liz Scott, I absolutely love working with technology. I think that that will be the thing that fuels me forever. And it is something that continues to grow and evolve, and I enjoy watching it. Sometimes it's scary, it's like, oh my gosh, where are we going with all of this tech? But I feel like we've got the opportunity that we've never had before to actually manage our workloads and do it in a way that allows us to then have space to have that client relationship. So I feel like we keep evolving, and I love staying tuned and part of the conversation.
Same, I've kind of working in the content creation area of accounting these days. My practice is friends and family. So I get a little jealous that I don't get to dip into the hands-on actual problem solving much anymore. I'm probably solving problems in other areas in my life, content creation, which is, there's a lot of opportunity there as well. But I have been a CPA for 30 years. I am an automation expert, and I do keep up to date on the AI, even if I'm not using it in accounting on a day-to-day. I am staying up to date on what's happening there, and I do love to tinker and experiment. So that's me. I'm also the director of education and media at Woodard. For those of you, I think I know everybody on here, so you guys know me. So now I'm excited to introduce some of my besties. So Jan, Haugo, I did it. Welcome.
Good.
Um, Jan, can you tell us a little? You have been a force in the
Mm.
accounting industry for your entire career. You led up is it the AIPB?
The
Was that?
ICB. Yep.
Yep. You headed that up for a long time, and you've had a firm for a long time. You're part of accounting salon. Just tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Yeah, appreciate it. And thanks guys for having me. Honestly, it's just not been a traditional path, right? It's every time I see that shining, light calling me, I just decided let's venture down this road. And it was always accounting, but it was technology. It was a passion for our industry, for the people and who've really struggle to get their businesses going, but also struggle to keep entrepreneurs going. So I got my degree, decided, you know what, I'm just going to go out and work and be the best I can be. Sat for the CPA and was like, this is just not for me. And started my own business, and that's been it's almost 28 years now that I've had my business, which is amazing. But along the journey, I have done several ventures like ICB USA, getting certification and raising the levels of vision for bookkeepers in the industry. I also have just, I don't know, just kind of done whatever I felt like, but just kept leading the charge. Our industry is so important, and I feel like I need to be a voice for women, for bookkeepers, for accountants, for CPAs, for whoever is kind of quiet. We are in an industry where everyone's a little bit shy or a little bit more introvert. And technology sometimes gets in that way. And I don't want that to happen. So for me, I've just taken on these roles that have turned into these enormous things that I didn't intend them to be. But I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful because I get to meet great friends and have made great friends like you guys and everyone on this webinar. So yeah, that's me.
Well, we're super, super lucky to have you and in our lives and in our industry. So thank you for everything that you've done. Awesome. So we also have Byron Patrick, who is CPA and co-founder of TB Academy, also CEO of Verify IQ. And you also have had an incredible career, also very technology focused. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey in accounting and with technology?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to a few of us on this call, right? In the sense that we get excited for new and fresh things, and as a result, we build the number of entries on our LinkedIn profile of places we've been and things we've done, and that's definitely been my career. I mean, I started out doing the CPA thing, in all respects, like kind of stumbled upon this technology itch. Gosh, over 20 years ago, I think. And since then, just yeah, been kind of, similar to, again, everybody else on this call. Like just looking to have impact in a profession and industry that I love, trying to help enable folks from all facets of the world to be better at their jobs and be better at their roles. So I honestly never ever expected to start an education company. Frankly, there was a point in time when I actually said don't even want to do education anymore, and yet here we are. So this AI stuff has really I maybe re-inspired that desire to help teach and enable folks. So yeah, I'm honored to be here and excited.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Sorry, Liz.
I love that re-inspired. I mean, I feel that some myself. It's like, being close to technology for, my career. I'm not going to say that I felt like I had seen it all, but oh my gosh, AI certainly changed the game, and I feel like it's made it a whole new world for accountants.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean,
Agreed.
it does remind me a little bit about, the early days of like going paperless, right? Like when all of a sudden this idea of like things being in the computer. And if you think about how long it took accountants to go paperless, I think AI is moving faster than getting rid of printers and scanners.
For
So true.
sure. I mean, it really. I started at Woodard in October. I just had my last Friday was my 3 year anniversary. I can't believe that at Woodard. But when I started Woodard was actually this that when ChatGPT really hit the mainstream and it really started being talked about was in October of it was around before that, but it was really kind of hit the mainstream in October of 2022. And it's been incredible how fast we've seen development in this area. And what is, I remember going to Digital CPA last year, and I say this all the time, but uh, Allie Miller, what did a keynote at CPA, Digital CPA last year, and what she said stayed with me. She said, AI is the worst it will ever be today.
That's right.
It's the worst it's ever going to be, and it's pretty darn good. And so, so whenever you're thinking, oh, this is incredible, it's like, can't wait for tomorrow to see how it gets even better. So, really exciting. So, Liz,
Yes.
I threw up our sponsors up there. Say a big thank you to our sponsors of Appy Hour. My Task LMS. They provide training, really a training pathway for firms to train their
Mhm.
staff on QuickBooks, Zero, a bunch of different tax software. So they've really done a great job of not just packaging the technology training, but tying
Mhm.
it into what does an actual work paper look like, what does a source document look like, and how do you actually reconcile that, which is something that I've never seen before in a an LMS for firms.
I love that she's doing that, or that they're doing that. I made me think of Client Hub. I love Judy. I think that she does some incredible things. And, we're talking about technology, and Judy was one of those first people that I talked to that took me back to that place of connecting apps. It's like, oh, that was such an awesome world too. So Judy's been around. She's part of our community, and she built an amazing practice management app.
She sure did. And Melio, I've been a Melio user for a long time. They have been a great partner, make it easy for us to get our clients to cooperate with us when we're paying bills. So love that. We're doing some really cool firm spotlights with them over the next year. So be watching for those on Facebook. We'll be putting them out on social media and reminding you, but we're really excited. We've already done one. We're doing another one, I believe, in November. So definitely be watching for those. And then our champagne level sponsor for 2025 is Zero. We've been digging into Zero all year. We have our Zero training cohort, which we wrapped up in August with a lot of our viewers, and they've just been an incredible partner. We're really grateful to them. And thank you to all our sponsors for helping make it possible. All right, Liz, I'm going to kick it back to you to get us started on our agenda.
Yeah, I love this. So kick off AI learning for accountants by accountants. I think that by accountants is the important piece there, because I think that whenever it comes to the type of work that we do, uh, it's very unique because we're utilizing technology for different industries. We've got to be able to stay current on what clients' needs are. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for accountants. In fact, I would say that most people would think that accountants are boring. And oh my gosh, hasn't this changed? Because we are really leading the way for businesses in this AI space. So I think that if you are somebody who enjoys technology consulting, this is your time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the AI accounting professional boot camp, I think that we're going to be talking about that in the TB Academy. So I feel like we're here and we're ready. So let's see what that
Yes.
next slide says.
So what I would just like to say is a huge thank you to both Byron and Jan for building out these programs. They're two of the first that I've seen out there. Like I said, we've had a myriad of webinars and sessions at different conferences, but to actually have a pathway that's going to take you from point zero to actually implementing in your firm is just so incredibly valuable. So we're going to kick off with you, Jan, to talk about smartaccountant.ai and your boot camp that you've created for accounting professionals. And I'm going to play Vanna. So you just tell me when you'd like me to click that next button.
Sounds good. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, so really, my course is more of a hands-on kind of, let's get in and dig deep. So we start with just the very basics, kind of assuming nobody's touched chat before and just kind of leveling you up. And the way that I liken it is we get in and we put on the training wheels and then we put you in the rocket ship and we take you up. And it's a 3-day interactive course. I really designed it to equip the users to come out with a 90-day plan, action items that they can take away and implement right away, and also about learning. I think for me, and Byron's, we've talked about this, that I think there has got to be a mental shift. When he was talking about, moving to the cloud, it seemed like everybody just really dug in their heels. And you could do that if you want to be paperless. I think that's fine, but you can't do that if you're trying to level up and get your firm to the next level. You've got to adopt AI, and that was kind of the way I took that. So I'm really excited about that. So you can go ahead and flip to the next slide and we'll take a look, Vanna. So I'm trying to build what I call, and I think others have, is an AI architect. And it's really just trying to make sure I help future proof, which is like next to impossible because we don't know what the future holds, right? But I want to make sure that we have some clarity and some confidence. The other thing is, I think we talked about at the top of the hour, is that there are so many tools out there that you get that shiny tool syndrome, right? So I really want to bring it back down to frameworks and what do we need, what do we not need, what can we kind of look at, and how can we be efficient with making ourselves ready for the next stage. Alrighty, let's move it on, Vanna. I love it. So the way that I do this is we take a 3-day boot camp and we break it down. So the day one is our reset mentally, emotionally, talking about what does that mental clarity look like? How can we save that energy drain? And then moving into some foundations like what is chat, what is Gemini, what is perplexity, those kind of things. We also talk a lot about safety. Our industry really values the safety. It needs safety, and we need to understand how some of these tools interact with that. And then day two, we look at tool selection. We're doing hands-on each day. And then we look at the ROI. What are we going to get? Like if we put this effort and this energy and our money and time into this, what do we see on the other end? And then day three, we're going to be scaling and implementing. So then we start to roll out not just for you, but firm-wide systems. So I'm looking kind of as an individual, getting you there, and then we're looking at how to build systems to help you scale and grow. And then when you leave, you have like a 90-day plan that will help you kind of keep on path, but also keep that vision so that you can keep moving.
I love that. Do you have I know we're going to go to the next slide, but do you have like a specific, is this good for solo practitioners? Is this good for, larger firms or medium? Like who is this boot camp right for, and like what level?
Yeah, well, obviously it's any level. I mean, if you've been playing in technology, you're curious, you haven't even started, or you're even advanced and you just want to freshen up. I don't think that you can get enough AI education. I think you could take my course, Byron's course, Mark Wickersham has got a course. I think that you could take them all in different perspective and different training, help build on that knowledge base that you're going to need. But I do like firms that have under 25 individuals. I don't talk tax at all, so we kind of stay away from tax, but entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small and growing firms.
I love that. That's awesome. And I love what you said about the different types of tools, because we have I'm going to say all purpose GPTs, right? Like Gemini, Chat GPT, but then we have specialized, different AI applications that are specialized for our industry. Do you cover any of those in your course?
I cover a little bit. I mean, I cover some industry type tools, but really I try to stick with, what are the biggest tools out there, the ones that people are going to use in terms of AI. But I think there's a lot of AI that's coming into the software that we use currently. Like I think Dex and Ramp's big, Carbon. They're all getting that AI inside their tools. I don't cover those, but we will talk about them.
Awesome. And of
Right.
course, I should have gone to the next slide. Sorry about that.
Okay. I was like, well, it's on the next slide, but
Right, right.
we'll
It
let
would be helpful
Anna.
if you click.
It's okay.
I'm
So,
clicking mana.
yeah, it's all right. So I mean, basically that's who I'm covering. Bookkeepers, accountants, like I said, anything but tax. I think Byron's done a really good job with, focusing on the CPA. He'll talk about it in a second, but about focusing on the CPA societies and helping them to try to move the needle. I mean, there's just so much education that's needed. I don't think it's like we won't help not everyone, but we are more specialized for that.
Awesome.
Go ahead and click next. Let's see. There we go. Here's our key takeaways. So when I'm talking to people and when we're working in our class, we're talking about AI isn't going to replace you. The goal of the class is to help elevate you and multiply the output from your production, multiply you, and really make sure that you get the fullest capacity that you can using AI. And I feel like there's a lot of noise. So for me, that creates a lot of chaos. And so I try to help bring us back to, that clarity that we need. The second thing we try to work on is that, again, you don't need all the tools. I mean, it's fun. I love playing with all the tools, don't get me wrong, but you don't need them. And we really work on what's going to bring you the fastest ROI. I have actually signed up for tools and then like 2 weeks later, they're gone, so it's not a great place right now for me anyway. And I think a lot of people to be out there navigating some of these brand new tools that are just spun up so fast and then they don't have support. Um, so I think for me, it's important to really look at the tools and we're out there vetting them and testing them all the time. So we can help guide through that. And then I think the next takeaway is I really want implementation to beat information. Meaning, we get a lot of people out there who are going to test a bunch of stuff, but if you test it and you don't do anything, what good is that? Let's get you implemented. Let's get you hands-on. Let's get you trying things and let's move you forward. And again, I love this webinar, but we don't need to spend a ton of time, trying to learn. We need to get our hands on this stuff. Next takeaway is data safety. We've got to make sure what we're putting up there, what we are telling our clients, how we're presenting this, and even our teammates, our company, what is our response to the safety issues and how can we navigate that? And then finally, you need to kind of lead with an automation plan. You need a prompt library. You need to have that plan to move you forward the next 90 days. So that to me is kind of the key takeaways from our course.
Absolutely. I mean, I think these are all incredible tips, and I agree with every single one of them. I recently read, and I can't remember where I read it. I'm sorry, everyone. Again, it's after 4 o'clock, and things start to fragment off my brain after four. But I read that in a recent study that they did, that a lot of firm leaders are saying that they're not seeing ROI on AI applications. And I was actually stunned by that because I use AI every day and I can tell you I am so much more productive than I ever was before. And I can't imagine not having it in my life, right? And so that was really surprising to me. And then, what they went on to say is that, and what we realize is, if you don't have a strategy and you don't know what you're trying to solve for, and you're just out there looking at AI for the sake of looking at AI, of course you're not going to get an ROI because you
Yeah,
don't have intention behind what you're actually looking to solve within your firm. And so I
yeah,
think there's a confusion among like our peers about, I need to be aware of it, right? But they haven't quite connected the dots to how can I actually use it and actually, get that ROI.
I
yeah, yeah,
feel like too, Heather, to kind of to rebuttal off that, I feel like part of where we're seeing the ROI not quite be there is that the technology that we're using is doing exactly what you just said. It's learning what workflows it needs to take and build inside of it. And so I think that the apps that are out there are getting there, but they're still in development. So that ROI is going to move. That needle will definitely shift, but it's in a place of development right now, as we are ourselves.
Mhm.
Do you think
Yeah.
it has anything to do, and I'd love to know from Byron, Jan, Liz, do you think it has anything to do with adoption by team members? Like for a firm that, is rolling out AI and they don't have cooperation or even interest from, other firm team members? Could that be playing
I
into
mean,
it?
I think that's always been a challenge with rolling out technology, right? Getting internal adoption, and that certainly makes measuring ROI challenging. I personally think that the challenge is most people can't define the outcome that they are looking for with respect to implementing AI, and you have to be able to define what that return is that you want. And if, I don't want to make this a timesheet conversation, but if you get twice as much work done in the same 2 hours,
Mhm.
and you're billing the same amount for 2 hours, there is no return
Mhm.
really, other than you've compressed 3 hours of work down to 2 hours of work. So, I think we're possibly using the wrong rulers to measure return. And frankly, I don't think many people know what ruler to even use.
Read.
Yeah. And I think going back to what Liz said is we're all trying to figure it out and we are in the development phase. So right now we're kind of in the point where we're investing in the
That's right.
technology and we're not going to see an ROI for a little while as people learn how to use it, as we create our prompts, as we really start to learn. When I first started with ChatGPT, because that's my GPT du jour or of choice. Half of what it gave back to me was garbage, right? It was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool that it's answering me, but I can't really use it. Now, I would say it's probably 90% usable, at
Mhm.
least 90% usable, to the point where it really has affected my productivity,
Yeah.
but I've trained it. Like I've trained it for
Yeah.
3 years. I've been working with it. I've been adding to it. I've been expanding on my knowledge. And so it's gotten really good because I've given it the instructions. So, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
my
I,
experience anyway.
I also think though, I mean, in my journey of doing this, which has been quite a while, and Byron, you can tell me what you think, but I think it takes 2 to 3 times, and I'm hearing you say that, Heather, to train a GPT. So why do I want to spend that time? I don't believe in just using one LLM because I think that each one has a different function. But at the same time, I've generated my own internal projects and GPTs that are specifically my voice. I have
Mhm.
one for my company, one for me, so that way, I don't have to train it over and over again. It starts with a great set of instructions, but it doesn't stop. It's an ever going training. I mean, I think there's a lot of training that has to go behind these things.
Mhm. Which is
Yeah,
the whole point of these. Oh, sorry, Byron.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to say, like, if you think about in accounting firms, when you transition software, whether you transition tax software or audit software or even accounting software, the first year sucks. Like, because you're learning something new. You don't get the ROI until the second year, almost consistently across accounting technologies. And this is the same. You're investing time to learn and understand the technology to make it effective. And I think um, here's what I absolutely believe. If you implement AI initiatives, a year from now, when you look back, you're going to be grateful that you did. You may not be able to it into a spreadsheet to measure all of the outcomes, but you're going to have it. You're going to get that return. It's just not going to fit in a spreadsheet necessarily.
Yeah, completely agree. I think you're going to see small increments at first, and it's going to be much faster, right? We're going to see that, and you should see that. But to get the true rapid results that we need, the true ROI, I think it does take a lot of time and investment. And I can hear people saying, I'm so busy now, how can I spend more time? And I think the answer to that is, how can you not, to your point, you
Mhm.
know, looking back a year from now?
I agree with that. And I feel like the investment in time, I feel like that's where a lot of us front runners are really needed. So for us to be able to implement these AI solutions for accountants and to give our feedback, not everybody has the time to invest in that. So those who are willing to, I think it's huge. I also think that, Murph just put into chat that here in Oklahoma, where I live, Paycom just they just let go of 500 employees. So there is some displacement of employees because of AI. And some of the solutions that I've talked to, what they're trying to do is make the AI solution the equivalent of a junior level accountant.
Yeah. And I do think that there's some element of companies using AI as a convenient excuse to cut their costs. Because even being an AI educator and somebody who is like all in, I think there are very few jobs that have been replaced by AI. And the ones that have are actually like software developers, the ones who are like they're eating their own. But when it comes to other things, I just think that there's a lot of companies that are either choosing not to hire or they're laying off and they're just using the convenient excuse of AI in order to do those things.
You know, Byron, I had an interesting conversation with my daughter who is a Gen Zer. And the conversation that we were having, she is very anti-AI. So she's an artist, which that makes sense because, AI is really
Right.
good at creating art. But she brought up some good points about, and I don't want to sidetrack our whole episode, but what I will say is that her concern was if AI is replacing those entry level positions, then how are the Gen Zers going to learn the critical thinking skills that they need to move into that advisory role? And my answer to her is our education has to change, right? So it goes from being the button pusher and the task to actually working on those building relationships and having the conversations. But she did have a valid point, and I think that's the big fear with Gen Z is if AI is coming for those repetitive tasks that I was going to do as the intern and the junior accountant, how am I going to learn those foundational skills that would allow me to elevate to the next level?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I've got two Gen Zers as well, both on different sides. One, the engineer, wants nothing to do with AI, and I'm like, dude, you're an engineer. Like the opportunities here are pretty fascinating. The other one, who is not in the sciences space, she's embracing AI and using it in a lot of different ways. So, there's definitely, I think, different things. And it's kind of funny too, because Gen Z also, they're looking to really accelerate into their career. I mean, when we entered the workforce, my goal was to be a firm partner. I knew it was going to be at least a 15-year slog of, going uphill both ways to get there. And I was ready for that. Gen Z is not about that. They're like, I partner track in less than a decade, let's go. So I find some kind of irony in a Gen Z being like, well, how am I going to learn if I don't have to carry these dumbbells uphill both ways? We're going to figure it out. Just like we most of us have learned to do math with calculators, and there's different things. Like I think we don't know the answers to these questions, but we're going to figure it out because we're going to throw a bunch of Gen Zers into the pool and see which ones swim.
Yeah, agreed. I have to say my alma mater, Arizona State, they just implemented a new policy that all of the professors have to utilize AI when they are teaching their courses. So they're kind of making sure that they're getting their hands on it. But I do think that our education does have to change and the way we teach has to change. But I like the idea of throwing them in the pool and seeing who swims, Byron.
For sure. And what you shouldn't do is stick your head in the sand and say, if I don't acknowledge it, it's just going to go away, because that's not going to happen. So it's if you choose to ignore it, you're just going to become further and further away, and you're not going to be part of the solution because it's not going away. So it is an interesting conversation, but I agree
Yeah.
with you, Jan. It's the education that we need to, the education needs to be changed. And that's going to take time, right? So we've got
Yeah,
to,
but at this rate,
but
they
you
don't
guys are
have a lot
doing
of
it.
time.
You guys are doing it. So thank you. All right.
There you
So
go.
tell us, and this is how folks can sign up for your course, right, Jen? Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, actually, these are five, like, it's like a little essential toolkit.
Oh, great.
It's got some resources on compliance and security measures. It's got an AI audit, like how audit ready are you? It's got some prompts in there for you. It's also got, trying to think of all the things, but it's more or less like the little starter pack. Just kind of go through these questions, answer these things, kind of getting your juices flowing and thinking about the different parts of AI as well as some resources to use. And then when you click through that, that gives you a link to my next boot camp, which starts on October 24th. And if you're interested, you can sign up. And then if you click to the next page, there is a registration, a $50 savings code that I'm giving. And the code is I am ready. So that is the code if you want to go through. My course is $297 for the 3 days, and $50 off makes it $247. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks so much to everybody being here. I love this.
Oh, it's a great conversation. So Byron, let's tell us about TB Academy.
Yeah. TB Academy, as you said, is kind of the outcome of Twyla Verhelst and I coming together. We were actually approached by the Maryland Association of CPAs. They said, "Hey, we need to be educating our members." I'm a former chair of the Maryland Association of CPAs, and they've known my career in technology, and they were like, I bet Byron has an idea. So I didn't really have a plan at that point, but we decided like, hey, let's see what we can do. So we ran some pilot programs with CPAs in Maryland, educating hands-on, just like Jan said. Like, nobody wants another webinar where they drop a bunch of stats on your plate and then give you tips and tricks that you'll walk away and never use. We are hands-on keyboard type of training for accountants by accountants to really teach, the principles and techniques around using generative AI. We teach it in ChatGPT, but our approach is to teach you the foundational skills. So you can take it to a Copilot, you can take it to a Google. If you're using industry application, 9 times out of 10, you're prompting. So we are teaching you those principles around prompting. If you go to the next slide, you can see this is kind of a high level of our modules. Our course, our AI Foundations course, we offer it in 2 ways. We have a self-study, so you can learn on your own time, go through the videos, learn everything, go through the quizzing and all that stuff. Exact same content as our AI Foundations live virtual. In fact, we've got one coming up on Friday that's going to be live online workshop. But you can see, with course introduction, we go through fundamentals, some advanced prompting, and then get into real life applications. One of the challenges end users have, not just accounting end users, but end users have is like Excel, for example. I have met people who did not know you could type equals sum and just like select things because they always hit the sum button on the toolbar, right? And we want applications that have a toolbar with buttons and things to push in it. And that is not what generative AI is. So we need to go through like real life use cases of, different ways that we can use it to get your juices flowing and figure out how to do it. So we go through all that and wrap it up. It's about 4 hours, 4 hours of content in the self-study. And actually, if you go ahead to the next page, I think it'll show you, yeah, here's an example of a video. There's Twyla doing one of our lessons. You can kind of watch it and go through. There's some quizzing. And like I said, this weekend or this week on Friday, we're doing a 4 hour like boot camp style. Sometimes we do it over 2 days. So it's like 2 hours and then 2 hours, gives you some time to let the juices flow. Sometimes we do it 4 hours, depending on, a variety of things and what you like. So, that's our foundations course. We also have, for everybody who goes through the foundations course and they want more, we have an AI impact course. That's a deeper dive in use cases, more advanced uses of generative AI. We basically created like a case study, like a fictitious company, and we go through like all the different ways that you can, not even all, a bunch of different ways. There's probably a million other ways you could do it. And, get into those advanced use cases. And, kind of one of our philosophies is there really are no AI experts. We're learning this. The attendees are learning this. This stuff is happening so damn fast. You can't be. If you declare yourself an expert, you have misspoken because we are all learning it together. So, we come together and we share what we are doing, which is a lot of fun. So, we do partner with the state CPA associations to offer this. We've got, we're going on 10 now, state societies that we partner with. You can also buy direct from us. It isn't, it isn't, so it's not just through the associations, but if you buy it through the associations, you get CPE. So that's the big bonus, as well as some beneficial pricing to go through the state associations. So if you are interested, if you go to the next slide, I think, oh no, this next slide, actually. So we've got a download of like 10 use at home AI prompts. There's some fun ones in there. Definitely, it's not your standard set of like use at home prompts. So if you're interested in that, hit that up. You can download those, learn.tbacademy.ai/free, and have fun with that. And then if you go to the next slide, if you're interested in any of our courses, we put together a discount, 20% off. Appy Hour 20 expires at the end of the month, and you can sign up for the self-study, for the live, whatever you want to do. So it's a lot of fun. And, it's great that we're doing this with like Jan and us because I consider this stuff kind of like ice cream shops, right? You need multiple ice cream shops because everybody has their different flavors, their different approaches, their different styles, and like there's opportunity to learn different things in different ways from everybody. So this is kind of our offering. We love Jan. Jan and I talked before she even launched hers about what she was putting together, and so it's a lot of fun. So I love the interest that everybody has in this stuff so far.
No, it is. And you're right, there's so much to learn and it's just like any technology. We all use it just a little bit differently and we all have tips and tricks that we can
Totally.
share. So I love that. It is really changing. I took an AI course, leadership course at Brown in
Oh, cool.
April of last year. And it was really interesting, but Joe Woodard and I took it together and we were just talking, it's already changed. Like the stuff that we went through and learned,
Yep.
things are so different now because it's changing so rapidly. But the one thing that has remained constant from that course is the fundamentals of what AI is and how it can be used. But what was really interesting, the big takeaway from the course is we are basically there's 5 different types of AI. We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Like just, we've moved into agents, right? Which was
Yep.
two, right? But now we have, the other applications of AI. And when we throw in quantum computing, that's where things really get serious. So seeing not just how we can use AI in the accounting industry, but being how you can use AI in other industries was really fascinating, like logistics and manufacturing and it was really really interesting. So I think my big takeaway from from all of this is you just can't put your head in the sand. You got to be reading, you've got to be listening, you've got to be taking these courses so that you know where it's going. And you can be part of the conversation and guide your clients, because it's not just affecting us, it's affecting our clients too. And the more that we know, the more we can help them.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we always say that the ground is moving beneath our feet with respect to this stuff, and it's hard to keep up. I actually, now that you mentioned that, one of the things we do for everybody that goes through our courses, we hold a monthly AI update call where Twyla and I get on and just kind of
Fun.
discuss some of the things we're doing today and some of the latest announcements. Because I mean, I'm using probably 10% of what ChatGPT is capable of. They keep pumping out new updates, and Gemini is doing some really great stuff. So you have to keep the conversation going. Just because you take a class, you can't just like save there, because you will expire very quickly.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
for sure.
liked what Murph had put into chat too. He was talking about students coming out of school and they have more experience with AI than a lot of us who've been in the profession for a long time, and so that means that they're going to rapidly outgrow us unless we're doing things to continue to invest and to continue to learn and grow, and then we're able to take what's new and coming and our actual application of accounting and working with clients and then bridge that together. And that's really an ideal world.
Oh,
Agreed. I have to say though, I have been seeing more and more employment posts where people are not just asking for a resume, they're saying, show me what you've done with AI.
Mhm.
And I kind of like that mental shift because that is the future. And they are asking people, hey, are you AI ready, first off? And then if you are, even if you're not, but you've tried it, let's see what you're doing. And I think that's a great way to really gauge the people who are going to help you carry to that next level, move that needle.
Mhm.
I agree. Just talking to other practitioners, talking to your clients, talking to your kids, and your grandkids, right? So yeah, and it's really interesting. I mean, one of the big things, California just passed like the first regulations, right? Or some of the first regulations in our country is we don't have any. We don't have any. We have lawsuits. But that's going to be interesting to see that we'll have regulation coming out of lawsuits. But that'll be interesting to see too, which is another reason that we need to be part of the conversation, right? Is to guide that regulation and how it is used. And so it's a really exciting time for us. And I hope everybody will get on board to at least, understand how it works, um, and what the potential is for sure.
100%. In classes like this, these types of courses, you really get to digest a lot very fast.
yeah.
And you get to walk away going, all right, well, maybe I'm not so in the dark. Maybe I actually know more than I thought I did. Maybe I got to expand on an area that I already had some ideas, but now I got more application of the use of those ideas.
Yeah, and Liz, to your point, like it's also intimidating for a lot of people. And being able to come in a safe space where you learn some skills. We've had a lot of people, we kind of do like an intake survey and then a survey when you leave. And there's a large percentage of the folks who go through our program who have anxiety or are intimidated and leave saying, like, feeling empowered, like, oh, I can do this. It's actually not that scary, which is really cool.
That is cool.
Really cool. And I think that Byron, to your point, I'm going to kind of add in something that Jan said too, which was our profession is full of shy, maybe quiet, less likely to speak up, highly intelligent, functioning people. But whenever it comes to feeling dumb, it's like, well, I don't want to be the first one to raise our hand. But if we're in a room full of other people who are learning also, it feels less intimidating.
Mm, love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we have some time for questions. I think you guys have been answering a lot of the questions that have been coming through the chat and the Q&A, so thank you for that. But if anybody has any additional questions, now's your time to ask them. And we're going into conference season too, so it's going to be a time for us to be learning, um, more about this and really, honestly, it's coming up with the strategy, right? For yourself and for your team is really, you got to have that kind of
Mhm.
compass of where you're going.
I agree. And I kind of, that compass of where you're going is really, Murph, is what I think that your comment is related to, is that we don't know exactly what's coming whenever it comes to regulations. I think that there's some things that we could put into place to help safeguard, but it is such a new area, and I do find it interesting that government and schools have adapted AI as a resource a whole lot faster than we've ever seen them adapt any other technology.
I agree. Going back to the paper, Byron, you were talking about, going from paper practices to having everything in the
Yep.
cloud and digital. It really comes down to mindset, because I think that for a lot of for I would say a majority of our industry, when it first started talking about digitizing our documents, there was this mental block of, if I can't touch it, if it's not, paper, right? That it doesn't, like, what happens if it's, something, if it just goes poof, right? I need to have that physical. And so it was just a mindset of getting over that and being able to change your mind and how you think about it. And also learning about it, learning about multiple, data centers that back up simultaneously, and and understanding the data. So yeah, for sure. So we have an exciting announcement, Liz.
Oh,
Yeah, you get to make it. So I'm going to click on the slide.
okay. Okay. So Heather and I have been talking about AI and working with a lot of apps who have been implementing AI into the solutions in ways that sometimes you don't really see. It's like there's not an AI button, but they're utilizing some AI search engines behind the scenes and incorporating agents. There's a whole lot of excitement about agents. So we thought, how better to bring this to everyone, um, but to create a showcase. So we're going to start an AI showcase very soon. I think that November is our first kickoff, and we're going to be talking about Chat GPT versus Copilot and what that looks like. And then we're going to continue on. But we want to highlight the apps in our ecosystem that are utilizing AI. Some of those are existing apps. Some of those are brand new apps. So this is a time that is an opportunity for a lot of apps that have been able to be designed in just a matter of a couple of years. And so here they are. They're one of some of the front runners in the accounting space. So we're going to bring those to all of you, and we're going to, focus on reporting apps. We're going to look at AI general ledgers. We're going to look at, apps whenever it comes to chat bot agents, operations in the background, workflow apps that are
Research,
incorporating AI. What'd you say?
research.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. It's like, we were talking about customer service. There's a little bit of a conversation happening over in chat and chat bots. There's some AI agents that are doing some very cool things, and you can either have a closed system so it only learns from your firm, or you can teach it great accounting principles or tap into their already existing concepts and allow your clients to chat with that. So it can be kind of a front line of entry level type questions. So it's really exciting. And so
It
I'm
is. It
into it.
is. And we're going to be kicking that off on November 18th, our regular Tuesdays at 4 o'clock. So we're excited to see all of you join us. It's going to be really fun. We've got some great apps that, like you said, Liz, that we've heard of, and then some apps that are new to us that they're doing some really remarkable things. So really excited to kick that off. Uh, We do have a YouTube channel. We have over 150 videos on our YouTube channel of lots of apps in our industry. Going back now, what, almost 9 years, Liz, of Happy Hour. So you can go in and check out those videos. And then a big thank you again to our sponsors, My Task LMS Client Hub, Emilio, and to our Champagne Level sponsor, Zero. Thank you for helping us to bring this content to you. And a huge thank you to Jan and Byron for not only joining us today, huge thank you for coming on Happy Hour. We love hanging out with you guys, but for creating these courses that our industry so desperately needed and now has. So I will be posting this video on our website and the deck. If you didn't get a chance to snap the QR codes to sign up for the courses or to get those free resources, those will be available on our website probably by the end of the day tomorrow. So, and you can always reach out to us at info@thehappyhour.com.
Yes,
So,
yes. And we had a question over in chat that there is no cost for the AI showcase. We're doing it just like we are doing this webinar. Heather and I will showcase those apps and bring those to you.
absolutely. So what's coming up in 2 weeks? I will be in Vegas at Intuit Connect, and Liz will be joining me remotely. And then we're getting ready. Liz and I are doing the GPT showdown, Chat GPT versus Copilot. I'm team Chat GPT and Liz is team
That should be
Copilot. So we're gonna go.
fun.
Can't wait for that.
We're
I
gonna go,
know.
yeah, head to head to figure out what can it do. So we'd love to see you on that one. And then we're going to kick off our accounting AI technology showcase kickoff on the 18th. So hope to see you all there. Another huge thank you to Jan and Byron. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
We
honored to
appreciate
be here.
All right. And you know what I didn't do? I don't know. Do we have a poll today, Liz?
I don't think we do, but if anybody
Okay.
wants
I don't think we do either. Okay. Just checking. I want to make sure I didn't mess that up. But
Byron and Jan, do you
go
have a
ahead.
link you want to throw into chat?
For a
Do I
poll.
want to? Oh yeah, you guys can throw your links in to
Put
chat.
your
That'd
link
be great.
into chat and make sure that people have those.
I would
Yep.
love
Perfect.
to see people in the chat telling us what they currently use in terms of their LLM. Are
Ooh.
they using chat? Are they using Claude? Are they using Gemini? Like, I'm just kind of curious. All right, there's a Gemini.
Gemini.
Hey, is Chat GPT chat. All right. Yeah, I love that, I know everybody's out playing with it. I just kind of want to get a sense. Oh, Copilot. All
Copilot.
right.
Nice.
This is
Nice.
it's a great way to find out. Oh. Claude, I use Claude.
Didn't
Off
see
and
any
on.
bards in there. No bards.
No bards.
No birds.
Well, we utilize both, and I think that there's a need for both. So Copilot, because we're a Microsoft-based firm
Yep.
and enterprise level, so we have a lot of Copilot features and functionalities that are built in, which I like the security of that. I think there was some security conversations happening in chat. But I feel like ChatGPT is just growing at a rate that is difficult for Copilot to keep up with. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, and I feel excited about the showdown that Heather and I have coming up because we're going to be able to really highlight both of those feature sets. But I'm a fan of
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
And Google Gemini is killer right now. I
Oh,
mean,
I've
I
heard
think
that.
it's right on the heels of ChatGPT, frankly. It's just missing
agreed.
a few
Now,
tools, but yeah.
does Gemini have agents already
Yeah,
too, or
they
is
just released
Yeah.
the Gemini Enterprise, which has an
okay?
agent builder. Like I haven't gotten to play with it. I activated it, but there's a bunch to play with. They have gems instead of custom GPTs.
Oh, okay.
There's like it's missing a few things, but man, if you're in a Google workspace, like Gemini crushes. Yeah, and projects, that is one thing that is missing out of Gemini right
Well,
now.
and if you like images, they've got Nano Banana, which,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
yeah, that is by far the best, I think, out there.
Interesting. I'll have to
Yeah.
play. I've just started using projects in ChatGPT and it's phenomenal. It's just
Mhm.
takes it to a
Game
whole new
changer.
level. Yeah, really is. So, awesome. All right. Well, we're right at the top of the right at the top of the error. I don't know. We're like, again, words after 4, they just, I don't know. My brain jumbles them up and whatever comes out, comes out. But we're at the top of the hour. So thanks everybody. And we will see you next time on the Appy Hour. Take care.
Everyone, take
Bye.
care.
See y'all.